I've been looking forward to making this video all year. I wanted to do a slightly different video. I wanted it to be a bit more reflective of my photography, a bit more about my tastes and my patterns and how I feel like they've changed as I've changed as a photographer, especially when we're talking about the fact I've been shooting with Fujifilm for over a year now and looking at what shooting with Fujifilm has taught me. For me, I think this is the type of video that I'd like to start doing year upon year, that I personally can look back on and reflect on and see how my tastes have changed. And I thought it would be good if I could turn on the camera, record this video and bring you guys along for the journey. Some of you might remember, especially if you're my earlier subscribers, I did a video when I first started out talking about printing and the power that I think it gives photographers. Well, like I said in that video, I have kept true to my word, and inside this book, I have continued to print throughout the year. So like I said in that initial video, the idea was to go out, and when I shot and came back, I would choose 3 of my favorite photos from that particular trip, like you can see that I've done here. Now, this has not been a strict rule. Sometimes I've only put in 1 or 2 photos into this book, and sometimes I put in way more. What I've really loved about the process of printing off my photos is reviewing them, touching them, feeling them, and slowly filling up this book. I think it's because it's December at the moment. I've realized how much I've ended up filling up this book with photos. I mean, I've got tons of photos in here. And it's really been great to go back and review the photos that I think I have forgotten, or that maybe if I was sticking through my Instagram page, I wouldn't really be giving a second thought, or even reviewing them on my website. I think when you're posting to social media, it's a very one and done situation. However, the fact I took the time to print off all the photos in this book gives me that second chance to review the photos within it and look back on them a little bit more fondly. I think maybe for me, I don't know about anyone else, but I have quite a nostalgic thing when it comes to photo album books. I think my parents' generation, that's what they did. They shot on film and had tons of these in the house, and we still do to this day. And I absolutely love flicking through them. So I think for me, there's definitely a nostalgic factor to sort of creating my own little bit more professional version of this album book. And what I like about it is the fact that I can hand it to people, whether it's people coming round or they see it and they pick it up. It's nice to give it to my parents and show them the type of photography that I'm doing. And I think, you know, if I ever come to the point where I have children of my own, it'll be nice that hopefully they can review this and look back on it as well. I think the thing I've loved most about printing off my work, and why I would encourage anyone to do it, is the fact that I've been printing off photos in this album book that I like, that I personally like, and there's a big distinction there. I haven't been printing off the photos that I think other people will like. I think on social media, even when I'm showing you guys my photos on here on YouTube, I feel like there's a certain pressure that comes with it. I'm trying to showcase my best work to an audience and prove myself as a photographer, whether that's to potential brands, other collaborators, or just to parents and people that I know. But this album book and the whole printing process is personal, it's private. So I can print off the photos that I exactly like, because no one else has to see this book. It's just the photos that I want in here. They're not always the best photos, but they're the ones that bring me joy to look at. And I personally think there's something really cool about doing that. Because whether you've been doing photography for 20 years or you've just got started, I think we all get into photography because we like taking photos, not because what other people will think, or take photos that other people would like. And I think the more you get into photography and maybe the more professional you're trying to become with photography, you lose that a bit, or you definitely can lose that. I think you tend to put a bit more pressure on yourself when you really don't need to, because you're worried about what other people will think and that you should be constantly improving. I don't think photography and improving is a linear line. I think at certain points things just click or change within you, or you just figure something out. So by having this book, I've got some photos that I took at the start of the year that I really like. And I've also got some at the end of this year, which are probably not that great, but they're still in this book. But it's up to me, and it's a good showcase of the fact that photography isn't linear. Sometimes it will go up, it will go down, and then it will spike up again, but you don't need to worry. You just need to focus on the process. So I think this whole printing album is a nice way of stripping all that back. I find that 3 photos per outing, trip, whatever you want to call it, really works well for this type of topic and this type of thing. I think the reason why I've picked 3 is basically that I think it just looks nice in the album book, even though you can see here I have chopped a few of the smaller photos up, but I typically think that 3 photos looks nice in this particular album book. Maybe when I get a different one, it'll just be 2 or 4 or whatever. But as much as I think sticking to this 3 favorite photo rule has been good, it's always good, in my opinion, to expand. Don't always have to conform to your own mental rules. So if I go out and I only take 1 or 2 photos that I think are good enough, that's all that's going in this book. But sometimes, like I've just shown you, I could have 10 photos in here that I think are good enough. So you need to always be open to expanding your mind to that. But again, I think it's so worth it. So what did I actually shoot this year? I guess I'd love to say at the moment that my photography has a true purpose to it, or that I think it has a real identity. However, I still don't feel as a photographer I have that key identity. I do feel like I'm getting close. I feel like I'm right at the cusp of identifying my true photography style, but I'm definitely not there yet. I'm not at the level of a James Popsy or a Roman Fox, for instance. I know a lot of my subscribers also subscribe to them. I do feel like they both got very distinctive styles, and that shows in the type of photos that they produce. And I just don't feel like I'm there yet. I'm getting close, but I'm just not there. But this year has taught me so much, and I think the places that I've gone and what I have shot have really helped me with this. With all that said, I don't want to get too much into a downer. I definitely think this year I have documented my life through photography a lot more. I've tried to focus on different camera angles, not taking the same type of photo that everyone else will take. I realise this is a difficult thing and it's not always something that is possible. But I wanted to try and take photos at different angles and different perspectives, and I think it's been a really good mindset to have this year, and it's helped me get some more creative shots. Of course, another consideration that I need to have is my photography is extremely varied. But I think it depends on whether I've gone on a weekend holiday trip, have I gone to the Peak District for a hike, have I done some street photography in Cambridge, Manchester, London. All these different landscapes and variations, whilst they're great to become more versatile as a photographer, they don't help you build a certain style, whether you're a street photographer or you do landscape or do you do wildlife. I'm doing a little bit of everything. And I think moving into 2026, I'd like to maybe niche down somehow or define my style by the type of photography that I take. However, if I had to actually think about what I've shot this year, I think when we're looking at places like the Peak District that are so open and wild, and of course the conditions can be quite harsh because you're higher up and you're out in the wilderness, I think I've wanted to try and show life within these harsh places, and I think maybe humans' impact on the wildlife or the surrounding area or how people are interacting with nature. And purely picked this out because of the photos that I have in this album book. It's clear to see that these are the types of photos that I have been taking. I think it's the kind of civilization, people within nature, that's really drawn me to take the photos I have when I'm in these wild places. So I think that's been a push to a particular style. On the flip side, when we're talking about street photography, I am by far no street photography. I hate getting in people's faces and doing the traditional type of street photography. But I think I've been drawn to more interesting light. I know Roman Fox is a huge fan of finding interesting light, and it's a process and a skill that's taken me a year to learn, and I've been playing around with it a lot more, playing around with my exposure, spot metering, and really trying to improve that side of my photography, because that's the type of photography I enjoy doing. Again, when we're talking about street photography, I've really loved capturing people in their day-to-day lives. Whilst, like I said, I don't want to get in people's faces, it just really isn't my thing. I do like to try and respect people's privacy if I can, even though I know in the UK you're allowed to, if you're in a public place, you can shoot what you want. Shooting people in silhouettes and showing how they blend in with this concrete environment has been really interesting. And just light and trying to get more detailed shots of the landscape that I think normal people miss as they're walking around is something that I've really enjoyed this year. And then what about in general, whether it's going to country houses, small little English towns, seaside resorts on holiday, I think overall I've just been trying to improve my composition and my angles and just generally get better as a photographer. I don't think I've always been successful with trying to improve my composition or angles, but I think just being aware of the fact that I'm trying to do that has really helped this year. So of course, like I've said a lot on this channel, I love using custom Fujifilm recipes. Since I've started shooting with Fujifilm, the recipes have changed throughout the year. I've been using more and more different ones and trying out new different ones all the time to see how they can become a part of my photography style. But I think it's definitely true to say that Fujifilm recipes have been a huge part of my photography journey this year, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. But when reviewing my favorite recipes this year that I've kept on my camera throughout the whole year, there are a few. The first one is my Kodak 800 Max. Now I say mine, it isn't mine. I took it from the Fujifilm weekly site, which I highly recommend any Fujifilm photographer to check out and use. They've got loads of recipes on there. I think I've identified I love this recipe most in winter, or especially in the UK when we've got gloomy conditions and it's dark and it's dreary and it's miserable. And I think it works really well for these types of environments. I've learned that a lot of Fujifilm recipes don't translate that well in these harsher conditions. They're better suited to like a Mediterranean environment. But the 800 Max recipe I feel works really nicely a lot of the time. I just like the muted tones that I get, and I feel like it really works nicely with this type of gloomy year that we're currently in, even if today it's so nice outside. Moving on to my own recipe actually, and probably one of my most used recipes this year is atmospheric daily. I started developing this recipe because I wanted a daily recipe that I could always come back to, especially if I was experimenting with other recipes that could just work for most environments that I'm in. It was just a dependable recipe that I could keep going back to and it would keep working. Now, I think this recipe works really nicely in sunnier climates, but for instance, when I took it to places like Porto, especially in November, and started shooting misty mornings, it still worked really well, which I like, and I'm glad that I can use it in sunny environments, or I can use it in those kind of mistier, harsher conditions. So it's extremely versatile, and whilst I think the 800 Max is still better for those gloomy environments, the atmospheric daily still works well for most environments that I have been to. I can't remember whether I said this or not at the start of my video when I was talking about printing off my work and sticking it in this album book. But I have left one space right at, if I can get to it, right at the front. I've left this one blank. Now, why have I done this? Because it's a bit strange if I've just left it. The reason being is I wanted to identify my favorite photo of the year and stick it on the front, write a little blurb, you know, maybe where I took it, when I took it, why I took it, why do I like it? And hopefully in 5 to 10 years time, as I keep doing this process, I can identify my favorite sort of culling of all my work, my favorite portfolio every single year, which I think is a nice thing to do. It certainly has not been easy to choose my favorite photo because honestly, I love them all and it's really hard to choose. Asking a photographer to choose their favorite photo of the year is so difficult. But I do have one photo that I think is better than the rest for a couple of reasons. Now this photo, I'll pop it up on the screen so it's a bit easier for everyone to see, is a photo that I took whilst I was on holiday. I went for an early morning walk with my partner. If you've ever been to Gran Canaria or places like that, you'll know obviously this Mediterranean environment is very warm and you get a lot of feline companions. This particular walk that I went on was along the coast and I was snapping some great photos. But one photo stood out to me for a couple of reasons. I love how empty, for a better of a word, this photo makes me feel. It's hard to describe, but it feels so remote. Yet, I know that it's on a coastline. You can see the sea and the sea wall. I love the cat on the left, sunbathing. I love the questions that this photo asks. Why is the cat there? Does the cat live on the seawall? And then what I love more, and that adds to the cat being there, is the can of Coke on the right-hand side. Obviously, the can of Coke is not the cat's, but whose is it? Why is it there? Has it been left there? Is there someone just out of frame that we can't see? I just love the colours and the contrast between the two objects that give you some complexity to the image. However, it still manages to feel so empty, and I absolutely love that about this photo. Now, this is just my depiction of this image. Everyone might think something different, but it's just how I feel about the photo. And I think, again, that's what this album is about. It's about me picking the photo that I like and I have a reason to. There might be other photos in this album, but which are better, which people will like more. But this is the photo that throughout the year I enjoy taking the most. Like I've done a little bit in a couple of my videos, I did just want to take this moment to thank everyone. 2025 has been amazing for me here on YouTube and as a photographer, and I'm so looking forward to taking all that momentum into 2026. What I can see from my analytics here on YouTube, I am not going anywhere and things are only going up. I've got brands wanting to work with me, other YouTubers wanting to collaborate with me, and it's just a great feeling that everything feels like it's starting to click. Of course, I've still got a regular 9 to 5. I can't get away from that yet, but this journey has been absolutely amazing and I thank everyone. So please do comment in the comment section below. Where else are you going to comment? I'd love to hear your favorite photos of the year, or what gear you've been loving using, or just something that maybe you've learnt this year. Just want to inspire people to talk about the things that they've loved doing this year or things that they've learned. So please do let me know in the comment section below and let's have a discussion about it. It was there, that's why.